Hello, dear students. Welcome to my science class. So, students, we were discussing the chapter Physical and Chemical Changes, and I'm really loving this chapter. It is very, very interesting. All the experiments, practicals, whatever, all the chemical changes that we have studied till now, they have fascinated me. So, till now, we have studied about the burning of magnesium. Then we studied the copper reaction between copper sulfate and iron. Then we studied about the reaction between vinegar and baking soda, in which carbon dioxide was produced, and then we passed that carbon dioxide produced to lime water, and lime water turned milky. So we have studied all these chemical reactions, and then we concluded that in a chemical change, heat, light, or any other radiation is given out or absorbed. Sound may be produced, a change in smell may occur, a change in color can take place, and a gas may be formed. So, now students, let us start with some chemical changes that occur around us. The first is rusting of iron. As in the part 2, I have shown what is rusting of iron. Let us get back to rusting. This is one chain that affects iron particles and slowly destroys them. Since iron is used in making bridges, ships, cars, truck bodies, and many other articles, the monetary loss due to rusting is huge. So, a number of substances, a number of items are made up of iron. Iron is used in almost everything, your construction buildings or your small nails, all these substances are made up of iron, and rusting of iron causes a lot of monetary loss. The process of rusting can be represented by the following equation. As we have studied in our previous parts, that what happens in case of rusting, iron reacts with oxygen and water and forms its oxide. So the chemical equation is iron Fe plus oxygen O2 plus water H2O and forms iron oxide Fe2O3. This is Fe2O3, and little bit of water is also there. So till 7th standard, you can write iron oxide, rust as Fe2O3. For rusting, the presence of both oxygen and water is essential. So for rusting, oxygen and water is required, and as soon as the humidity level increases, the rate of rusting also increases. So in fact, if the content of moisture in air is high, which means if it is more humid, rusting becomes faster. So how do we prevent rusting? Because rusting causes a lot of monetary loss, so we try to prevent rusting. How can we prevent rusting? Prevent iron particles from coming in contact with oxygen or water or both. The first option is to prevent the iron to come in contact with water and oxygen. And how can we prevent that? One simple way is to apply a coat of paint or grease. In fact, these coats should be applied regularly to prevent rusting. So first method is applying either a coat of paint or grease. So painting is one method for of avoiding rusting. Now second method is another way is to deposit a layer of metal like chromium or zinc on iron. So the second method is to deposit a layer of zinc or chromium or metal which can prevent rusting. This process of depositing a layer of zinc on iron is called galvanization. So what is galvanization? The process of deposition of a layer of zinc or chromium on zinc on iron is called as galvanization. So galvanization is important because it prevents rusting. The iron pipes we use in our homes to carry water are galvanized to prevent rusting. So let us see how this process of galvanization is done. So as you can see, this is molten zinc and these are iron articles, and then they are dipped in this molten zinc slowly. The scum that appears on molten zinc is removed, and after some time they are taken out, and you can see the galvanized iron. This is galvanized iron. All these are galvanized iron. The method of galvanization. So you know that ships are made of iron and a part of them remains underwater. On the part above water also, water drops keep clinging to the ship out on the outer surface. Moreover, the water of the sea contains many salts. The salt water makes the process of rust formation faster. Therefore, ships suffer a lot of damage from rusting in spite of being painted. So much so that a fraction of ships' iron has to be replaced every year. Can you imagine the monetary loss to the world? We know that two-thirds of our earth is covered with water, and the main transport medium in this part of earth is the ships, and these ships are made up of iron, and a part of these ships remain underwater, which is constantly in contact with the sea water, which is also salty. That is why it corrodes faster, it rust faster, as well as the part which is above the water also keeps on rusting, and that is why we suffer a lot of monetary loss. And a part of ship is replaced every year. Few of the parts which are in constant contact with water, they need replacement every year. That is why the monetary loss is more. There is a blue box in your book that stainless steel is made by mixing iron with carbon and metals like chromium, nickel and manganese, and it does not rust. So stainless steel, which is an alloy of iron. What is an alloy? Alloy is a mixture of one or more metals in a specific proportion. So stainless steel is made by mixing carbon, chromium, nickel and manganese, and it does not rust. So it is very useful. That is why now you have stainless steel utensils at home. So now crystallization. In class 6 you have learned that salt can be obtained by evaporation of seawater. The salt obtained in this manner is not pure and the shape of its crystals cannot be seen clearly. However, large crystals of pure substance can be formed from their solution. This process is called crystallization. It is an example of a physical change. So now, what is crystallization? We have studied dissolution. We can dissolve sugar in water or salt in water, and it is called as dissolution. Sugar dissolves in water, salt dissolves in water, and the opposite of that dissolution is crystallization. The example of crystallization is like when we obtain salt from salt water. What happens? We evaporate all the water and salt crystals are left, but they are not pure crystals. So formation of pure crystals is called as the crystallization. and it is a physical change because the chemical properties are not changing, only the state is changing. Now let us perform this activity to understand crystallization in a better way. Use only dilute sulfuric acid. Be careful while boiling water. So be careful while performing this activity. Take a cup full of water in a beaker and add a few drops of dilute sulfuric acid. Heat the water. So first of all, you have to take a beaker and you have to add water to it and few drops of dilute sulfuric acid. Then when this water starts boiling, add copper sulfate powder slowly. We have studied what is copper sulfate, blue vitriol or Neela thotha. While stirring continuously, continue adding copper sulfate powder till no more powder can be dissolved. Now filter the solution, allow it to cool. Do not disturb the solution when it is cooling. Look at the solution after some time. Can you see the crystals of copper sulfate? If no, wait, you have to wait for some time. So the experiment is you have to take water, you have to add a little of dilute sulfuric acid, and then you have to heat the solution. And when it starts boiling, you have to add copper sulfate slowly and you have to stir it continuously. And you have to add this copper sulfate till no more powder can be dissolved. Then you have to filter the solution so that all the impurities they are removed. And then you have to keep it aside, do not disturb the solution and let it cool. After some time, say after 2 to 3 days, what will you observe? We will observe crystals of copper sulfate. Let us see this activity. So the experiment is, first we have to make a saturated solution of copper sulfate. This is a saturated solution of copper sulfate. What is a saturated solution? In which no more solute can be dissolved. Now heat the solution, and we know that heating increases the solubility of the solute, so we can dissolve more solute. Now since we have heated the solution, we can dissolve more solute, so we are making it super saturated. Then what will happen? It will dissolve more of solute, and when we will cool it down, the extra solute will be crystallized. So let us observe. Then we have to filter this liquid, this solution. First we have to put a filter paper also here and then filter this solution and keep it aside. Do not disturb this solution and let the solution cool. So after a day or so, what you will observe? Crystals of copper sulfate. So we know that solubility of salt in water increases with temperature of the solution. So more salt can be dissolved, and this is called as supersaturated solution. The salt from the supersaturated solution gets precipitated out when the solution returns to its original temperature, and so these crystals are formed. So what is crystallization? Crystallization is the process of formation of solid crystals of a substance by precipitating it out from a saturated solution. So this is crystallization. So in this chapter we have learnt about the different physical and chemical changes, and now we can identify whether a change is a physical change or a chemical change. We have studied about these terms like crystallization, physical change, galvanization, rusting, chemical change, etc. I hope you all have enjoyed this chapter. It was really a very, very interesting chapter. Read the chapter well, beta. Thank you, students.